Hello. I am just here to share some just an encouraging insight that the Lord showed me that was like really just recently that's really been helping me. So one thing that I saw happening with me is with my son in particular, there would be some amount of emotional outbursts. For instance, let's say he's building something with blocks. He tries to put the next block on and totally ends up crushing the entire thing or making it all fall. And then he'd have this emotional response that was, in my opinion, obviously a lot bigger than the actual situation. And so I wasn't trying to be mean, but I would be pretty dismissive of his emotion toward the situation. And so it would cause a frustration in me because I would just think, hey, buddy, it's just blocks. Like, it's okay. You can just rebuild it. It's not a big deal. Big deal. Calm down. And it's so funny because I hate being told to calm down. Um, But I say it to my kids, and realized I would have this expectation for him to just get over it. I didn't even notice fully that I was doing this and I was being so dismissive of his emotions in a moment until Jason would come home. And if you've ever met my husband, it sometimes feels unfair just how anointed he is with kids, how great he is with de-escalation, how great he is with walking people through a step-by-step emotional journey to the other side from frustration to calm and to peace. And so sometimes I'll watch him and I'll just like, great, well now I feel like I'm doing a terrible job, and so that's not the case. But that watching him revealed something to me. And I said, okay, well, there's just obviously an area right now where I don't fully understand what I need to be doing because it's not enough to tell a kid, calm down. It's not enough to tell a child, you're okay. It'll be fine. We've heard those things. And when people tell us things as adults in real life, it'll be fine. Everything's going to work out. That doesn't help me in now. Teach me. This is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be discipling them and training them in the steps to get to the other side of that frustration. And so really the Lord's just been convicting me of that. And the first step was just really slowing down. And that's the best thing you can do for your kid. Even if you don't know what to say, it's just slow down. Like your frustration a lot of times comes from in the subconscious realm. It came from me. I would assign my values and interpretation of a situation um, from my adult perspective on their child world, right? So if they start getting emotional, if they have an outburst, they get frustrated, angry. In my mind, I'm thinking of the big picture. This doesn't matter. Like 2 seconds, you're not going to care. But that's not where they are. So I try to remember and imagine, like, oh, what's a time where I felt so frustrated, where I've wanted to just literally grip something and like, like, what's a time where that's happening and identifying and empathizing with their emotion in the moment, less about comparing apples to apples of the situation, because obviously the Lord set us here to have many situations as we grow up so we can practice for those heavier, weightier matters in adulthood. So it's a blessing that they don't have to deal with some of the things you deal with. So you don't have to tell them, oh, just wait until you're older and you've got this to do and you've got this to do. You don't even, all that stuff doesn't help. It doesn't teach them anything. All it teaches is to basically consider that you can be dismissive of emotions and try and hop skip over them and just pretend like everything's okay. And so the Lord helped me with a passage I was not even expecting to help me. So the first thing was to slow down. That just helped me in general. So like I said, if you have no other plan, but to just slow down and connect with your child in the moment, just say like, oh, you seem really frustrated right now. Like, I get it. I've been there, baby. Just, do you want to hug? Like, help them to start engaging them in a way where they can engage back with you and explain what actually is happening. And for me, I have kids that aren't old enough necessarily to have that type of verbiage yet. So I have to help lead them a lot more, which means I have to slow down even more, which is really against a lot of what my natural instinct is to do, because our natural culture is keep going, move faster, consume more, all of this stuff. So you have to really rub and like fight against that temptation. But at the same time, I was reading it in Nehemiah, and there was a part where they're finally getting together to rebuild the wall, and that had been totally decimated. And at that point, Ezra at the time was gathering all of the Israel that was remaining in Jerusalem. I'm going to read from the NIV. I don't use that version for a couple of reasons, but on the occasion, sometimes there is wording in there that that has helped me. So try not to judge me based on that for people who are extremely specific about, look, you can do your own research. If you want to go to another version, look at it. I looked up to the interlinear, um, seeing the Hebrew just to kind of see, like, is this far off or what? So I did do that. And so if you want to do that, please do that. You should do that. I think you should study the word. Yeah, anyway, so Nehemiah 8:8. They read from the book of the law, making it clear, giving the meaning so that the people understood what was being read. Okay, I'm going to break it down because it gives you 3 steps. I think this is pretty much the step of teaching anything. Okay, so they read from the book of the law, make it clear, and give the meaning so that the people understood what was being read. They presented the truth. They made sure the truth was very clear. And they then gave the meaning of the truth, meaning they explained to them why this matters. What does this mean? What is this all about? And now I've been using that to help me slow down in a moment and actually talk my kids through what they're dealing with instead of being, so that I'm not being dismissive of what they're dealing with, so that I can actually give them the training and the discipleship that I would want from someone in a season of frustration or in a moment of sadness and mourning or in a day where I just feel like I don't want to do it. I'm feeling more testy, more irritable, more angry. Okay. I would want them to, obviously, we're really good at, I think, presenting the truth. Like, you're going to be okay. That's very true. You know, it's okay. You are bigger than this. You are stronger than this. And that's all very true. That's good truth. You want your kids to know that. But they didn't stop there because you want to make it clear to them. Well, okay, what's the way to elaborate and clarify? All right. You know what? I understand that you're frustrated and I've been there and I still have times where that happens for me. One thing that would be good to remember is in this moment, you're not powerless. You're not without choices. You have an amazing opportunity to make a decision. The Bible says a righteous man falls 7 times and still gets back up again. That's part of being a righteous man. That's part of it. And so you're not doing anything wrong by having a moment of frustration where you messed up. Okay? There's nothing wrong with you. But in order to get past this, we're going to have to navigate through this emotion. So if that's the case, let's now lead them into a place where they can actually make a decision. And so I am able to use that. Like, that's you may not say all of that, but that's in general the truth, and you make it clear to them in a way that they understand in their own language. Because, it may not be enough for them to understand and say, oh, it's going to be okay. It's extremely positive and vague. People don't typically learn from positive, vague. They learn from you doing it with them in the moment. And so there's that. But the last part that I really also want to touch on is it says giving meaning so that people understood what is being read. Giving meaning, like, give your kids the meaning, like the context of why this matters. Like, do you know why it's so important? It's because there's going to be other things in life that might cause you frustration. Like Jesus tells us, there's going to be challenges, there's going to be trials. This is practice. So when you meet those things in life, you know how to deal with them. And so this is what you're dealing with right now is extremely normal. Mommy and daddy still go through these types of moments. So there's nothing wrong with you, but we actually need these to actually become the person that God's called us to be. We need these to grow. We need these to be the most powerful, authoritative, blessed, mature, lead, like filled with the Spirit, fruitful person you can be, so that God can show you how good he is when he overcomes those things, because he is the overcomer. He has overcome the world. And so you're in him and now you're becoming an overcomer. Okay. And so you encourage him, you're an overcomer. And this is why this moment matters. I'm not dismissing it. I need you to know this moment matters because you're becoming an overcomer. And so you might not give that whole speech, but understand what I'm talking about. I'm going off the fly. Okay. I'm new. I'm entering this too. Like I said, this was a recent thing the Lord really helped me do because I needed like a step by step. Lord, help me figure this out, because in the moment, just telling myself, Sharice, oh, you need to be patient. It's not cutting it. And it's not cutting it. And I knew that, but I just didn't see the clear steps to, okay, well, if I need to be patient, I need to be able to focus my energy on what I need to be doing in that moment. And let me tell you, it's helped me so much because in slowing down and doing those things, you re-engage them from the problem into the solution. You give them back their power in a moment where they feel like a victim because something feels like it's happening to them, and you remind them how powerful they are. And so in that moment too, the same thing is happening for me. In a moment where I feel like this frustration is happening to me, I slow down and I'm literally going through the same steps. I am taking back possession of that moment. And I'm saying, in authority and power, we're going to slow down. We're going to handle this. And you're teaching them in real time to do that, not just by what you're saying, but you're modeling it in action. Hopefully that makes sense. But I put that out there in case there's other people that are in the thick of it with young kids. I'm sure this, because it's a Bible, it's a principle, so it applies to young, old. I was just thinking of it for teaching other people, other adults, things like we all need that. The Holy Spirit is so good with that, and obviously, every bit of truth that He gives us requires His grace and his continual presence to shift and to mark our hearts in a way that only He can. And there's only one person that is that kid's parent, and that's you. And you'll know how to operate in this. You'll know how to operate in this as long as you just continue to pursue the Lord and ask Him for help. He will answer. And so hopefully that helps someone else. If you have any other tips or additions to this that you're like, this has really been working for me, in terms of helping my kids, stewarding the emotions of my kids, because that's a big part of our ministry as parents. Put in the comments. You parents, we need to be believers. We need to be generously helping each other. Like this, we got to do this with the help of other wise counsel, with the help of other people that are also seeking the same thing and wanting to serve the Lord and steward the imago days that He has given us. So put it in the comments, share it, love it.